Boom, 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 boom. Now tell me what you gonna do, but it ain't nowhere to run. When judgment comes for you, when judgment comes for you, tell me what you gonna do, when it ain't nowhere to hide. When judgment comes for you, 'cause it's gonna come for you.
Making it for water, easy, see something Charlie. Little boo God's got him, and I'm gonna miss everybody out of row and flow like I ain't looked at a while. Like I'm praying for dust, and they play too deep for being sad. Little legs I got to be. Tell me your feature deceased, would it please? Marry me by my grand, when you can go follow
God bless you, working on a plan to heaven.
Backbone Wrestling Network. Welcome back to the CrosUp, your weekly look back at the week that was in professional wrestling. This week I'll be running through the results and happenings from Raw on July 21st, Collision on July 26th, as well as last Sunday's TNA Slammiversary pay-per-view. We will start with TNA Slammiversary. We open with Mustafa Ali defeating Cedric Alexander via pinfall with a 450 splash after Tasha Steelz had run some interference for Ali. Probably that rivalry will probably continue a little bit, but Ali does get the victory there. We go to the back and we have Joe Hendry. He is ready to win his world championship back. And then go to our next match where the System of Eddie Edwards, JDC, and Brian Myers team with Matt Cardona to defeat NXT's Dark State when Saquon Sugars gets hit with radio silence and the Boston Knee Party back-to-back, and Eddie Edwards gets the pin. We then get Indy Hartwell defeating Tessa Blanchard via pinfall with the Hertz Donut. After the match, Blanchard jumps Hartwell, who had been getting interviewed by Gigi Miller, and she actually takes out Gigi Miller as well and attacks her and kind of runs her into the steps and beats her up a good bit. And then in the back, Santino ejects her from the building because you don't attack interviewers like that. We then get the Elegance brand. They're happy with their retention of their championships against the Inspiration on the pre-show. But the Inspiration comes in to yell that they cheated and that they want another shot at the titles and for it to be fair next time. We then get JC Jane defeating Masha Slamovich via pinfall with the rolling encore to become the new TNA Knockouts champion. So she is now the NXT women's champion and the Knockouts champion as well. So as much as she was doing pretty much nothing about 2 or 3 months ago, she is now multiple promotions women's world champion. So we then cut to the back where Eric Young yells at his Northern Armory compatriots. I believe they had wrestled on the pre-show and had disappointed their leader. We then get Leon Slater defeating Moose via pinfall with the Swanton 450 to become the new TNA X Division champion. Post-match, Leon Slater celebrates with his family before Moose actually puts the title around his waist. Moose has been a heel for most of his TNA run, so he doesn't usually show very much respect, but he gives Leon a good bit of praise here and straps him up. And then Moose kind of leaves, and Slater keeps continuing to celebrate. And then we get AJ Styles, who had been promoted for the show. They didn't really promote what he was doing. But he comes out to his old music, his old TNA music. He gets cheered on by the fans. Styles asks if TNA missed him and talks about all of his history in the promotion for the long time that he was there. He says Slater earned it tonight and says people like Slater make Styles love this business. He lists off a lot of great X Division wrestlers and how they built the division. Says the division is in good hands with Slater now, and announces that he is the new champion. So Slater is the youngest TNA X Division champion of all time, so that's pretty cool. Notch in his belt, and he's been killing it on TV and just all these premium live events, pay-per-views, special events, or what do you want to call them. He's been really great lately, and he definitely deserved this moment. And Moose, despite the fact that I don't really think of him as an X Division wrestler, did pretty good with his reign. So I won't say it was a complete loss or anything like that. But Leon definitely deserved the moment, and he got it here. He got the moment that somebody else also probably deserved later on in the night, but we'll get to that when we get to that. We then go to our ladder match, our 4-way ladder match for the TNA Tag Team titles, and the Hardys win back their TNA Tag Team titles from the Nemeths. They also defeat First Class and the Rascals, who are represented by Zachary Wentz and Myron Reed here. So the Hardys are the new TNA Tag Team Champions. After the match, Bully Ray comes out randomly. He praises the Hardys and puts over their history together, all the history throughout WWE, TNA, all the stuff that they had been through. And he wants them and his Team 3D partner, Devon, to do it one more time at Bound for Glory. And the match seems to be agreed upon from the Hardys end. And we'll see if it gets made official as we kind of march towards Bound for Glory from here. Which, I mean, it's not till October, so we've got a little bit till that happens, but we'll see if it's made official by Santino. We then go to Santino in the back. He announces that Tessa Blanchard has been suspended indefinitely. He says, with that out of the way, he brings out the guys that do the Busted Open radio show that had been on the pre-show panel. He asked for their main event predictions, but Frankie Kazarian comes out and says nobody cares. He thinks he should be in the main event, but instead he says he'll be at ringside for commentary, which I can only imagine means he'll get involved, which he actually does. When Trick Williams retains his TNA World Title over Joe Hendry and Mike Santana, Santana had hit multiple spin-the-block clotheslines on Hendry, seemingly knocking him out. And he goes for the pin, and Trick immediately comes in, throws Santana out of the ring, and steals the victory. So it was in New York. Santana's from New York. Would have made a ton of sense to do the title change here. I'm assuming they want to give him his moment in a one-on-one match because it seems like Hendry's either done or close to being done with TNA, as he's taken quite a few losses lately, and we'll continue to see as we go to Impact later on in the week. He takes another L on that. So I want to say he's probably WWE bound pretty soon, or something's going on with him. Where he's going to be making a change before too long. But Santana seems to be the future, seems to be the champion that's going to end up beating, end up being the champion and the guy that defeats Trick. But I'm assuming we'll probably put that off till Bound for Glory now, considering that that's the next like huge event. But we'll see what happens. But I assume Santana's the next champ, and it will happen at a big event like that. So. But as far as match of the night, I talked about Slater really impressing lately, and he did so tonight. And him and Moose had quite the banger. The main event was good as well. The ladder match had quite a few spots that I would say were pretty memorable. AJ Francis put his complete body on the line at one point and kind of landed with his legs on each side of one of the rungs. So it kind of went nut first onto it, and it kind of looked like you can't really see what his legs do under it, but it looks like it could have been pretty brutal. It could have really hurt his leg somewhere around the way. But I, from all reports, I think he's doing all right. But a solid show. Definitely one I would go out of my way to check out. Yeah, I thought it was a good show, and definitely check out at least Moose and Slater in that main event. And maybe the ladder match because it had some good spots for sure. But yeah, we will move from there to Raw. We get an opening recap from last week's gauntlet match and Roman Reigns' return. We get a Judgment Day arriving in their car, and AJ Styles is the valet. But they toss in the keys without realizing that it's AJ at first, and then AJ, as they walk off and kind of run away, he just kind of tosses their keys over his shoulder. So their rental car's keys are just in the middle of the parking lot. I hope somebody found them eventually. But CM Punk comes out to get the show started in the arena. He's happy to be here tonight and talks about his goals in WWE. This includes main eventing WrestleMania, which he's done, but now he wants to be world champion. Last week, he won a gauntlet match to become the number one contender against Gunther at SummerSlam. He knows Gunther is one of the best in the world and promises to give it everything he has to make sure he walks out world champion. Gunther is a monster, but he himself is CM Punk. This brings Gunther out. He is booed vociferously. Gunther says they are both here to win titles and make money. Gunther knows that he has a big ego, but unlike Punk, his isn't based on the fans. That's worthless because his is based on results. Punk listed all of Gunther's accolades, and Gunther knows that he's that good. At least Punk will have the fans chanting for him. And then that leaves Punk with something to kind of think about. So Gunther trying to get in his head that the fans don't matter. and that's all he has, despite the fact that Gunther's the world champion and he's a better wrestler at this point. But he wants Punk to think that the fans matter, because that's all he's got, and he won't be world champion as long as he's the guy that he's facing. We then get Stephanie Vaquer. She is asked about the secret Hervis. Naomi comes in to say that she's the champ, which Vaquer seems to know, obviously, because she has a belt on her shoulder or waist. Naomi is ready for the triple threat at SummerSlam, and then she is ready to beat Vaquer at Clash in Paris. But Vaquer doesn't seem all that impressed with the whole situation. We then get Sheamus versus Rusev, where Sheamus defeats Rusev to get a win back. He gets it via pinfall with the bro kick. We then get El Grande Americano. He speaks in a heavily accented Spanish accent, but Dragon Lee comes in to say Americano is fake. Americano then calls Lee basura, which means trash, and they start to brawl before they are separated by security. Lyra Valkyria then comes up to Bayley and is stunned that she has seemingly gotten them a tag team title shot tonight. Bayley says, forget about what has happened and just focus on tonight. But Valkyria seems kind of stunned and doesn't know why Bayley would do such a thing with Lyra having a big match with Becky Lynch coming up at SummerSlam. We then get a triple threat match for the number one contendership for the World Tag Team titles. In a complete upset, the LWO of Joaquin Wilde and Cruz del Toro defeat the New Day and the Creed brothers when Wilde rolls up Kofi Kingston for a surprise win. And then this, like I said, this earns the LWO a tag team title shot against the Judgment Day at a future date. We then get the Kabuki Warriors. They want the women's tag team titles back, and Io Sky wants her women's world title back, of course. The Warriors leave, and then Stephanie Vaquer comes in to say she's ready for Io Sky if and when she wins the women's world title back at SummerSlam. They're ready to face each other in Paris, but Sky says, why not do it tonight? And Vaquer seems in and likes that idea of taking Io on tonight. We then get Adam Pearce. He wants Dominic Mysterio to go get his injury reevaluated. And he has to, but he says he has to go help Roxanne and Raquel. Mysterio turns around and AJ Styles is a janitor. So Mysterio kind of runs away. Styles keeps cleaning and tells the New Day to be careful of the wet floor. New Day seems very confused and kind of loses it over everything being strange and stupid around here lately, and thinks it's time to make some changes. But within the New Day, Grayson Waller comes in and says Austin Theory is hurt, so he is a free agent and doesn't have that dead weight carrying behind him anymore. So he is able to join the New Day if they would like. And the New Day seem still kind of confused, but intrigued by the idea of maybe taking on a new member, maybe even Grayson Waller. We then get Becky Lynch to come out for a promo. She said she should be in New York City for the premiere of Happy Gilmore 2, which she was in, but instead she is here in Houston. She can't believe Lyra Valkyria is being so selfish to need 2 titles. Granted, it's not the same as when she was Becky 2 belts, but now she wants Valkyria out here. Lyra comes out with Becky saying that SummerSlam is Valkyria's last shot at the title. That's fine with Lyra, who wants no countouts, no disqualifications. Becky says that's fine with her, and then she rants about how Valkyria is better now, who better now respect the match and Becky. Becky then wants a handshake, but Lyra is ready for a cheap shot and plants Lynch with her own move, the Manhandle Slam. We then get Judgment Day, represented by Raquel Rodriguez and Roxanne Perez, retaining their titles over Lyra Valkyria and Bayley when Raquel hits the Tejana Bomb on Bayley. We then get Sami Zayn. He says he's ready to get some revenge on Karrion Kross. I believe maybe a match between them two gets made for SummerSlam. Dominic Mysterio is looking for AJ Styles, but finds Judgment Day, who tells him to calm down and stop worrying about the whole situation. Adam Pearson comes in to tell Mysterio that he's either getting evaluated tonight or he's getting stripped of his Intercontinental Championship. We then get Karrion Kross defeating Sami Zayn via pinfall following an illegal pipe shot to the injured ribs, while Scarlett has the ref distracted. So they did have that match tonight, but I think they also will be facing each other at SummerSlam. down the road. So Adam Pearce and AJ Styles are then outside of the trainer's office and ask what Dominic Mysterio's status is, but Mysterio actually is outside of the room and jumps Styles from behind, says he's cleared, and says he will see AJ at SummerSlam. We then get Stephanie Vaquer versus Io Sky. It ends in a no contest when Chelsea Green and her Secret Hervis come in and attack both of them. After the match, Vaquer and Sky fight the three of them off, but Naomi comes from behind and sends Sky into Vaquer, knocking Vaquer to the floor and Sky kind of down in the ring. She continues to beat them down until Rhea comes out and makes a save, and then Rhea, Io, and Stephanie Vaquer all clear the ring and stand tall. We then get our main event promo where Paul Heyman, Bronson Reed, and Braun Breaker come out before Roman Reigns is to come to the ring. Before Heyman can get very far into his promo, though, Reigns comes out, which kind of pisses off Reed, Breaker, and Heyman. Obviously, Roman takes his time getting to the ring. Heyman says he never wants to be disrespectful or rude. He mocks the Texas fans, but gets to the point that Seth Rollins is injured for a long time, and that means there is a leadership spot available. They're always better him and Reigns are always better together, but first Reigns asks fans to acknowledge him. Heyman does the pose, but Reigns says that Heyman isn't a wise man anymore. He calls him a dumbass. Ron Breaker is ready to jump at Reigns, but who says Heyman will turn on him one day. Reigns has heard a lot of people trying to take credit for the tribal chief, but the only reason that happens is the people still acknowledge him. Heyman helped Reigns become the champion, but the Usos, Solo Sikoa, and Sami Zayn helped him keep the title. Then he lost the title one day, but he went home to help raise the future bloodline, his kids. The team is family, though Heyman only sees them as another wrestling faction. What really bothers Reigns is that he made Heyman part of the family, and then he betrayed the family for his quote-unquote best friend. Heyman is the one who ruined the bloodline, which has Breaker wanting the mic to kind of rebuke everything that Reigns is saying. Breaker says Reigns was a big deal 5 years ago, knows Heyman won't turn on him because he has value in this place. Reigns is worthless while Breaker is the big dog around here. So Reigns can do what he does best, and that is leave. Reigns says he didn't hear any of that because the mic wasn't working. He throws Breaker his mic and then hits him with a Superman punch before going after Bronson Reed. Breaker is back up with a spear to Reigns, but then Jey Uso comes out to make the save, and then Uso and Reigns hit stereo spears and clear the ring to end the show. So this match does get made official throughout the week. So it's going to be Reigns and Jey versus Breaker and Reed. So kind of want to see the Breaker Reigns match, but I assume we'll get that down the line, maybe in Paris. But you can't help but understand that they're going to do the tag match because Jey Uso is super over right now, and Reed deserves the spot as well. And him and Jey have been feuding for the last little while, so I'm okay with it. I would have liked to have seen two singles matches, but I'm not going to complain getting to see a Roman Reigns match. So, and as much as Vaquer and Io Sky didn't end with a conclusive ending, I still think that was the best match of the show. So, anytime you can get those two girls in the ring, they're probably gonna have a banger. Maybe varying levels of banger, but this one definitely was worth a check out. So, but we will move from there to NXT. We open with a Culling defeating Zarya, Sol Ruca, and Hank and Tank when Dark State comes out and the lights go down. When they come back up, Tatum Paxley seemingly has Zarya rolled up out of nowhere and gets the 3 count. We then look at JC Jane winning the TNA Knockouts Championship at Slammiversary, and Jordan Grace is barred from entering the building tonight because they don't want her to mess up anything. Fatal Influence then comes out to the ring. JC Jane brags about being women's wrestling today and says no one believed in her, but look at her now. Everyone wants to find their place in history, but look who is the double champion now. Lash Legend then comes out to interrupt, saying it's time for her to lash out. She wants one of those titles, but Jada Parker comes out and says She wants them as well. JC James tells the two of them to figure this out for themselves, but then Legend jumps in to start a brawl. Fatal Influence is quickly cleared out by Parker and Legend as they continue to argue about who deserves the shot more. We then get Ricky Saints in the backstage with Javon Evans, offering him some advice for how to kind of proceed to the future, because Javon says he doesn't really know what he wants to do next. We then get Miles Bourne. He gives Ren Sinclair a pep talk for her match against Blake Monroe tonight. We then get Jasper Troy defeating Ricky Saints via countout when he gets slammed through the entrance ramp, and then as he's kind of laying on the broken part of the ramp, Jasper does kind of a senton splash onto the broken part where Saints is, and then he just kind of rolls back in the ring before the 10 count, so he wins by countout. We then get Trick Williams. He is ready to deal with being called out, but doesn't like Javon Evans' comments about his title reign and how he's been winning lately. We then get Trick coming out to the ring. He brags about retaining his world title at Slammiversary of the weekend. Then he got disrespected by the LFG stars last week, who called in The Undertaker. Now, it's true The Undertaker is a star, but he never held down two brands. Trick then calls out The Undertaker for being soft by being on LFG. So The Undertaker comes out. He gets the big entrance, obviously. Undertaker says, we may have a dead man walking with a title and the bling. And he asks him if his leather is real cowhide. He asked for a friend, I think, obviously implying his wife, who's been known to wear that kind of stuff in the past. Trick then says everything except the respect. Undertaker then says he's been watching Trick, and this version doesn't have the same traits that he had as NXT champion. With this attitude, it's a matter of when Trick loses the title, and that's when the walls start crumbling down. He tries to teach his LFG team about attitude, but Trick doesn't want to hear it. No one on that team or in WWE is a superstar like him, so Undertaker offers to make him famous. Trick comes out swinging, but then is promptly chokeslammed to end this segment. We then get Fatal Influence. They aren't sure what to do about Jada Parker and Lash Legend, but Michelle McCool comes in to straighten things out and to kind of offer them some advice. We then get Blake Monroe defeating Ren Sinclair via pinfall following a double arm DDT. After the match, Monroe grabs a mic, but Jordan Grace has somehow snuck into the arena through the crowd. She beats up some security, but Monroe actually grabs her and does the double arm DDT onto a chair, so leaves Jordan Grace laying as she somehow got into the building despite being banned from the building. We then get Ethan Page. He's out for his North American title celebration. He has been around this country and seen every location, but if his parents had raised him differently, he might have been like these people in America. This title will no longer represent North America, but it should be all about Canada, which is where Page is from. Page throws the title down and unveils a new version of the title, with the strap being basically the Canadian flag, with the plates obviously on it. He insults America and praises Canada before asking us for the Canadian national anthem. Page sings it himself, and out of fear of an American butchering the song. We then get randomly Santino Marella coming out, who talks about being Italian in the spirit of Rocky Balboa, but he says he was born and raised in Canada at the same time. That's why next week he will be getting a title shot. So, and he starts to do the Cobra, but Ethan Page ends up scurrying away. So we'll get Santino Marella versus Ethan Page for the North American Championship next week. We then get Trick Williams and Oba Femi in the backstage for a stare down as they're the TNA and NXT champion. And then JC Jane kind of pops in between them, obviously showing that she has both belts with the men's version of each of her championships on each side of her. So it was cool kind of visual. And I think it kind of gives the idea of Trick. Maybe he can have two belts as well. We then get Yoshiki Inamura. He comes up to Javon Evans to ask for some advice for himself. Inamura isn't sure if he should have listened to Josh Briggs, but Evans says he is not a bad friend. He just might have picked the wrong guy to trust. The thing is, Inamura has his own code, and you can love someone and not like them at the same time. Inamura seems to understand what Javon Evans says and walks away. Charlie Dempsey then tells Miles Bourne to go away, but Bully Ray comes in to say that Bourne should stay. After hugging Ren Sinclair and praising her on her efforts, Bully Ray says he's going to get a match made between Tavion Heights and Dempsey. If Heights wins, he's out. And I don't think Dempsey really gets anything if he wins, even though they've already had this match before as well. So I really don't know what Charlie has to gain out of it. But then Bully Ray leaves, and Lexus King comes in to say that he doesn't think Miles Bourne is deaf, but he's just trying to get sympathy. Bourne then says he wishes King was a mute. So I assume we'll get a match between those two in the future. We then get We then get a message that Roman Reigns has challenged Bronson Reed and Braun Breaker to a tag match at SummerSlam, but we'll wait to see if Jey Uso accepts being his partner. We then get the main event match where Oba Femi defeats Yoshiki Inamura and Josh Briggs when he hits the fall from grace on Briggs to retain his NXT championship. And then we cut to one more scene where Javon Evans is still kind of looking on what he should do next. And then the Undertaker comes in and says he should go for the biggest dog in the yard as they kind of look at Femi celebrating at the end of the show with his title to end the show. So obviously Javon seems to be maybe the next guy to go after Oba Femi. So we'll see. Heat Wave, I know, is later on in August. So we'll see if that's kind of who ends up being the title challenger there. But the main event, Femi, Briggs, and Inamura was the best match. Anytime Femi can get out there, he's going to bring everybody else up to his level. Despite his, young in his career as he is, he seems to be a pretty bankable star and a pretty bankable guy that if he's in a match, it's probably going to be pretty good. Because he just has a way of commanding the crowd and hitting big moves and stuff like that. So that is my best match on there. So definitely check it out. We'll move from there to Dynamite. We get announced that there's going to be a tournament to crown number one contenders for the tag team championships for a title shot at Forbidden Door. We then get Hangman. He says he's willing to face Wheeler Yuta tonight, but MJF comes in to tease a cash in. Hangman then defeats Wheeler Yuta via pinfall with the buckshot lariat in about 3 minutes. After the match, Page grabs a chain and starts to beat Yuta with it and bust him open. And he goes to hang him over the rope, kind of like he defeated Mox at All In. But he kind of stops himself, knowing that that's probably not the right thing to do. We then get Athena. She's advertising Shark Week by wearing this shark fin hat. And she said she has brought Billy Starks here tonight to take out Toni Storm and teases that she may walk out AEW Women's World Champion. We then get FTR defeating Jet Speed when Dax Harwood reverses a Hurricane Rhino attempt into a roll-up and gets some leverage helped by Stokely and his crutch. After the match, Hathaway rants about Cope injuring him last week, calling him a cancer to AEW. Cope then comes out, who is barred from getting close to FTR. The good thing is he made a business deal with some people who can, and they are in the business of hurting people. The Hurt Syndicate then come out and brawl with FTR, but FTR bails. Cope then tries to spear Hathaway, but he ends up hitting a security guard this time instead. So FTR advanced in the tag team tournament with this victory. I didn't mention that, but with the Hurt Syndicate interfering in this, I have the feeling that is going to end up who is going to win this tournament. So they kind of probably gave away the result pretty quickly there, but it's an 8-team tournament. So we'll see who ends up on the winning side. But we then get the matriarchy in the back. They are ready to back up their words with physicality because they are now uncaged. Obviously, a kind of shot at Christian Cage. So we then get John Moxley. He says he isn't going to make any excuses for his loss, but by the end of the night, we'll find out who Hangman Page really is. We then get Will Ospreay coming to the ring to kind of talk to Tony Schiavone. Talks about the work that he put in to help get the world title back in AEW. The problem is he had some bad disc in his neck, but he can be treated with the right help and hard work. He can be back for Forbidden Door. He's still coming for the Death Riders too because he wants revenge on them. And then Swerve Strickland comes out to show some respect to his buddy Will Ospreay. We then get video on Julia Hart, Tekla, and Sky Blue, who kind of aligned last week. They will get a name later in the week that I'll talk about, but it's kind of a video kind of talking about their new alliance and what they're kind of getting at or hoping to accomplish. We then get Willow Nightingale. She needs something fresh to do and could go for fighting Tekla at some point this week. We then get MJF. He isn't sure what was up with what happened earlier with Hurt Syndicate and FTR, because it should be about getting MJF his world title. Bobby Lashley then grabs him by the throat and pushes him up against the locker and says he wants MJF out of the team and is tired of hearing about me from MJF. Lashley, Shelton, and MVP then both all kind of walk away with MVP kind of shaking his head at MJF in disapproval of how he's been acting. We then get Tony Storm defeating Billy Starks via submission with the TCM chicken wing. After the match, Starks drops Storm with the a belt shot, and Athena then comes in to send her into the steps over and over again. She then smacks her over the head with her little contract case that holds her title shot, and looks like she may be about to cash in, but Alex Windsor comes in and interrupts and saves Tony Storm. We then get Swerve Strickland defeating Hinchicero via DQ when Lance Archer comes in and attacks Swerve. After the match, Bandito and Brody King come in and save and brawl to the back with the Don Callis family. Okada then comes in and hits Strickland with a chair, but Swerve kind of fights back. And then he threatens to hit the house call with a chair, but Okada ends up getting away before anything like that could happen. We then get MJF out to cut a promo. He knows the fans aren't that bright, but he doesn't need Bobby Lashley to get his title back. As for Hangman Page, he's ready to execute this contract and take his title back, but Mark Briscoe comes out to interrupt him. After making a kosher pickle joke, obviously making fun of how tiny his penis is once again, Briscoe says that MJF stole the win from him in the Casino Gauntlet and wants MJF next week. MJF obviously says no to this. If Briscoe was supposed to win the contract, he would have done it. But when the pressure is on, Briscoe loses. The fans might love Briscoe, but he is just a joke, and everyone knows it. MJF respected one man from Delaware, and he would have listened to a challenge from him. Briscoe must be miserable waking up every day knowing that he is not as respected as his brother Jay, and that's enough for Mark Briscoe to come to the ring and try to attack MJF, but MJF bails fairly quickly. And then we get our main event where Mark Briscoe actually defeats Claudio Castagnoli via pinfall following a surprise roll-up. After the match, Marina Shafir comes in to take Briscoe down, and Moxley comes out as well. He calls out Hangman Page, who comes to the ring and says he'll keep getting up. Comes out to say he'll keep getting up. Next week, they can do battle for the title one more time, but under Page's rules, everyone but a referee will be banned from ringside. Page knows Moxley will accept, so he'll see him next week. Dumbass. So we'll get a big title match next week with Hangman and Mox. Obviously, I don't think it'll be quite as brutal and bloody and devastating as the match at All In, but hopefully they can deliver another banger there as well. So we'll see what that ends up being. But the best match of the night was FTR and Jet Speed. If you had presented me that match on paper beforehand, I probably would have told you that it was going to be the best match. So definitely check that one out. But that was just the first match in the tournament to crown new number one contenders for the tag team titles. We'll go from there to Impact. We open with a in-memory graphic of Hulk Hogan, as Hulk Hogan had died earlier that afternoon. So RIP Hulk, of course, huge superstar, one of the biggest of all time. He meant a lot to a lot of people. He had his demons. He had the things that he probably regretted towards the end of his life. But he's still a huge star. He meant a lot to a lot of people. So rest in peace, Hulk Hogan. And nobody will ever forget you. Hulkamania will live forever in, the WWE network on Peacock and stuff like that, or whatever iteration that it'll have. He was part of so many big, important moments. So again, rest in peace. But That's kind of probably all I'll say about that. But they open with a in-memory graphic for him. We get a Slammiversary recap as well. Santino comes out and he says he wants the TNA World Title back in TNA. He's coming for the NXT North American title. And Masha comes out to kind of interrupt. Masha Slamovich, I should say, comes out to interrupt Santino. She wants her rematch for her Knockouts title next week. So Santino signs off on that request as well. The System then comes out as Masha's kind of leaving. Eddie Edwards talks about getting rid of Dark State, and he's not going to let outsiders keep coming in and trying to take over. They are willing to go to war for TNA and be the soldiers, despite kind of being heels. They're ready to represent the brand. Moose talks about facing Leon Slater, who made him remember why he loves this place, as he earned the X Division title against Moose this past Sunday. They all want to take out Trick Williams, who comes out to interrupt as well with his first-class buddies. Trick thinks Moose must be stupid because Trick took out average Joe Hendry and Mike Santana. Moose is ready to fight, but here is Order 4 to interrupt instead. Mustafa Ali says they're the best faction in TNA, and that's enough to start an all-out brawl between all of the guys in the arena before we go to commercial. In the back, we go to Santino, and he makes Brian Myers and Matt Cardona against the great hands of Order 4 for later tonight. We then get the team of The Inspiration and Mara Sade defeating the Elegance brand. Mara Sade is the former Jakar Jackson from NXT, so good to see her pop back up somewhere else. I may be saying that name wrong too, but it's something to that effect. But they defeat the Elegance brand when The Inspiration hits the Idolizer on Heather by Elegance. We then get Mike Santana. He pretty much is, at a loss for words about what happened at Slammiversary. He couldn't win the big one in his hometown. We then get Indy Hartwell. She is happy with her win at Slammiversary. But Danny Luna comes in to kind of talk to her. Victoria Crawford comes in to voice her displeasure with the both of them, and a match seems to be made between some combination of the three. Hartwell and Luna are confused by kind of Victoria's words and kind of what she says. We then get Eric Young with the Northern Armory. Says he is the only one who can see the truth and what their mission is. We then get Leon Slater. He comes out to cut a promo. He thinks it's crazy that he won the title and is now the youngest X Division champion in history. He puts over Moose for showing him respect, but he wants to talk about AJ Styles. Slater wants to bring the title back to its roots of speed, but for now, he wants the Hardys out here as they won their titles as well. Matt is very happy with Slater, and Jeff says this is the Hardy Soul Train. Steve Macklin then comes out to interrupt, who isn't happy with all these invaders coming in and taking their titles. You have all these champions here, plus him as the international champion, and it is up to them to hold the line against our outsiders. And all the champs seem to agree that they need to hold, serve, and keep their titles within TNA. We then get Jake Something defeating Matt Warner via pinfall, following Into the Void, which is basically a black hole slam. JC Jane and Fatal Influence come out for a promo. JC Jane says she is proud of her win, and she is ready for you to think of her when you think of the Knockouts title. She insults most of the roster and promises to be champion for a long time because she always gets the last laugh. We then get the Great Hands defeating Cardona and Myers after some interference from the Secret Service of Ali's, allowing Skylar to pin Cardona in a surprise win. I was surprised to see the Great Hands win this match, but they did. And then I don't know if they named this like a number one contenders match or anything, but Mike Santana defeats Joe Hendry via pinfall after they kind of exchanged some roll-ups, but it ends up working out in Santana's favor. And then they shake hands and respect each other to end the show. So again, like I said, Hendry loses again. He took the pinfall at Slammiversary. He's obviously lost the title recently and takes another pinfall from Santana here. So Santana seems to be whether this was officially a number one contender or not, he seems to be the guy that's probably going to get the title shot more sooner rather than later, I should say. We'll go from there to SmackDown. We open with the roster and a bunch of legends out on the stage to obviously pay tribute to Hulk Hogan once again. Triple H talks about how big of an influence he was to everyone here on the stage. They wouldn't be here without Hulk Hogan, and that is the case for a lot of the wrestlers here. We get a 10-bell salute, then we get a video package about his career. It's set to like Real American. It's kind of playing in the background. Triple H narrates about how big of an influence he was on everybody. It talks about his childhood, his career, rising up through the AWA and eventually WWE. We get some celebrities kind of talking about him and how he was kind of involved with that, and some of his biggest rivalries throughout his career. His WCW career, going from being the good guy, babyface that everybody kind of booed, to being the biggest heel in the NWO. They talk about his return and his legendary match with The Rock at WrestleMania 18. Talk about his 2005 Hall of Fame induction. And then they show kind of every time he's been brought back since then, and how he always kept a connection with the fans, despite maybe his personal demons and stuff like that. He passed away at 71 years old. And we get a final look at some of his career highlights, and then we cut to the fans and they applaud the video. The video is really good. I enjoyed it a lot. So, but again, RIP Hulk. So, but then we cut to Logan Paul. He comes out to cut a promo. He actually, so they obviously chant "Thank you, Hulk" when all that video's over. But Logan, being the ultimate heel that he is, says, "Oh, I heard y'all chanting thank you, Paul." Obviously implying Logan Paul. Or they said they chanted "Thank you, Hogan," and he said he thought they were saying "Thank you, Logan." So the ultimate heel that he is, he mentioned that, of course. And they're in Cleveland, which is his hometown. So glad to be there. But the reality is he made the city, and it's nothing without him. He has nothing in common with anybody here. And he made it out of this town, and the people here didn't. For tonight, though, he's giving back by hosting a live edition of his Impulsive show. He doesn't like Jelly Roll, who, of course, comes out and interrupts him. He says he's tired of Paul being a jerk and inspiring other kids to be jerks. Paul says at SummerSlam, he gets to tag in a 6'7", 300-pound Scottish warrior, while Randy Orton gets to tag in Jelly Roll. That brings Jelly into the ring. With he basically says he's going to kill him. Jelly Roll then talks about how he doesn't like Paul and sees him as a punk ass bitch. Drew McIntyre then comes out, but Jelly Roll starts singing Randy Orton's theme, and that brings Orton out. Orton punches McIntyre in the face, but gets knocked to the outside, leaving McIntyre to knock Jelly Roll down. But he doesn't quite do any ground and pound. Instead, he lets Paul come in and get some shots in. Randy Orton then comes back in to brawl with McIntyre. And then Jelly Roll beats up Logan Paul. He hits him with a big right hand, but Logan Paul loads up the big right hand, but Jelly Roll actually grabs a boss man slam and plants Paul instead to end the segment. We then get video of Andrade and Rey Fenix, who are ready to win the tag team titles tonight. We then get Roxanne Perez defeating Alexa Bliss via pinfall with a roll-up after Alexa had saved Charlotte from Raquel attacking her on the outside. After the match, Charlotte checks on Bliss, who had apparently had her nose busted open throughout the match. We then get Jade Cargill. She is ready to win the title at SummerSlam. Jade Cargill leaves, and Chelsea Green kind of comes in with her secret Hervis. Comes in to say that she would be getting the title shot over crown stealing, or she should be getting the title shot over crown stealing Cargill. The Hervis go off to secure the perimeter, but Cargill kind of appears back behind her as she's still insulting her, and Jade kind of takes her out and knocks her and battles her into the arena. And we have a referee out at the ring, so we have a match. And then Jade Cargill defeats Chelsea Green via pinfall following Jaded. And after the match, the beatdown is on from the secret Hervis, but Tiffany Stratton runs in to make the save. And the secret Hervis and Chelsea Green are kind of cleared out of the ring, with Jade grabbing the title, and then they end up kind of having a tug of war before Jade ends up letting Tiffany kind of have it. We then get Charlotte. She checks up on Alexa Bliss in the locker room, saying that what happened tonight can't happen at SummerSlam. They need to win. and they pretty much affirm that they are partners. Alexa thinks that Charlotte was about to say friends, but Charlotte kind of denies it, even though Alexa really thinks that that's how she feels. We then get Cody Rhodes. He comes out to cut a promo. He starts off by talking about, obviously, Hulk Hogan passing again. While there are some things about him that are complicated, what isn't complicated is that Hulk's contributions to WWE are unmatched by pretty much anyone. While Rhodes is a WWE superstar, Hogan was the first WWE superstar. And Rhodes wants to say thank you to him. However, Rhodes has something else going on, and that is SummerSlam, which will be about violence. The tricky thing is Rhodes doesn't want to wrestle this John Cena that he's been talking to and dealing with over the last few months. He doesn't. Rhodes wants to fight the real John Cena. If Rhodes is going to be the best, he needs to beat the best, and that means going through one of the best of all time. If this is Cena's last SummerSlam, Rhodes wants Cena to wrestle like it's his first. He wants Cena to say hello to the cameraman, running to the ring and bringing hustle, loyalty, and respect. As for the respect, they can beat it into each other, or into and out of each other. Cody gets a chant and stands up on the ropes before a person who can make that happen is Cena, and he'll make that happen next week. We then get a recap of Jacob Fatu getting into it with Solo Sikoa last week, setting up their cage match at SummerSlam. Fatu talks about how he loves Sikoa, but now he's going to be locked in a cage with him, and that's enough for him to come after the United States title. The Miz then randomly pops in. He isn't someone who is just there to get beaten up. He's the main character, so he's facing Fatu tonight. Fatu isn't impressed, but Miz slaps him. Fatu then says, "Come with it," and the Miz kind of backs away. We then get video for Aleister Black versus Damian Priest. That'll happen next week. Black talks about how Priest fights to prove who he is, while Black fights to prove who Priest is, who is a fraud, obviously. Priest is ready to prove himself next week when they fight in their match. We then get Jacob Fatu defeating The Miz via pinfall following a pop-up Samoan drop. After the match, the beatdown is on from My Family Tree. Or the MFTs, whatever you want to call them. But Jimmy Uso runs in with a chair and makes the save. Tala shrugs off a chair shot, but Fatu is back up. They clean house with a chair, and then it's loaded up in the corner. Tala is able to make the save, though, and Fatu gets beaten down. Sikoa screams at Fatu about this being what happens when you betray him. We then cut to the back with the Street Profits and B-Fab, who want the tag team titles. DIY then comes in to say they have a plan of their own, and they want the Profits to stay out of the way. We then get Zelina Vega, who comes up to Julia, but runs into Kiana James, of all people, who finally makes her main roster kind of debut after getting drafted like 2 years ago, it seems. But Julia, she is Julia's official representation. Vega calls James Clipboard Karen, but James has already gotten a title rematch between the two set up for a later date. We then get a SummerSlam rundown, and we actually have nights assigned now. So Saturday so far will be Tiffany Stratton versus Jade, Orton and Jelly Roll versus Logan Paul and Drew McIntyre, Judgment Day versus Charlotte Flair and Alexa Bliss, Roman and Jay versus Bronson Reed and Braun Breaker, Sami Zayn versus Karrion Kross, and Punk versus Gunther. That'll wrap up Saturday. Sunday will be Naomi versus Io Sky versus Rhea Ripley, Becky Lynch versus Lyra Valkyria, Mysterio versus AJ Styles, and Cena versus Cody. We'll get a match here in a second that I assume will probably be Sunday, as it's kind of on the lighter side than Saturday so far. So Andrade and Rey Fenix defeat the Wyatt Six via disqualification when Andrade has the match won, but the referee is pulled out by Nikki Cross. After the match, Eric Rowan comes in for a beatdown. So all the other teams in the SmackDown Tag Division come in. They're beaten down as well. Street Profits then come in and take out the Wyatts. But Nick Aldis is sick of all this fighting and all the talking and chatter that he's had to deal with over the last few months, just dealing with all these tag teams. Therefore, a TLC match between all 6 teams will be made for SummerSlam. And the brawl continues, and it ends with Tommaso hitting a big dive, Tommaso Ciampa, to end the show. That match was the best match of the show. There wasn't all that many matches, and the others were pretty short. But it was a pretty good tag match for what it was worth, but pretty light on the wrestling side on SmackDown there. So, but they're getting close to SummerSlam, so it might be like that next week as well. Just trying to get a lot of stories pushed forward promo-wise. But we'll wrap up the week with Collision. We open with Dustin Rhodes defeating Lee Moriarty to retain his TNA championship via pinfall when he reverses a figure 4 attempt into a small package. After the match, Don Callis and Kyle Fletcher come out with Kyle Fletcher saying he wants the TNT championship in the one-on-one match he earned previously. Dustin agrees, but he wants it in a Chicago street fight next week on Collision. The Bang Bang Gang is then ready to face Brian Keith and Big Bill in the tag team tournament. Colton Gunn is injured, so the Bang Bang Gang will be represented by Juice Robinson and Austin Gunn. They say when one of them is injured, the next man steps up. So they're down Jay White and Colton Gunn right now, but we'll see what Juice and Austin can do in the tournament. We then get Toni Storm. She says no one goes as deep as she does, and she wants to see Alex Windsor beat Athena later. Storm doesn't think Athena has the ovaries to take the AEW world title from her, which is funny. We then get the Bang Bang Gang of Juice Robinson and Austin Gunn defeating Big Bill and Brian Keith when Keith has Juice pinned, but Austin comes in and kind of flips the roll up around and gets it into their advantage. So they advance in the tournament. And I believe that's who FTR is going to face into the next round. So we'll see how that goes. We then get Don Callis interrupting Shane Taylor interview, talking about tonight's big $400,000 eight-man tag team match that they'll have later on tonight. We then get Anthony Bowens. He answers Max Caster's open challenge and defeats him in about 2 minutes. After the match, Bowens beats him down even more, but Billy Gunn comes out to break it up. And then an angry Anthony Bowens kind of leaves on his own, probably implying that him and Billy Gunn are done. And maybe turning Bowens a little bit heel, despite the fact that Caster is also a heel. But he's been showing some more aggressive tendencies lately, so we'll see how that kind of works out. We then get AR Fox. He interrupts the matriarchy and wants to face Nick Wayne. Kip Sabian thinks that's a good idea, and they actually agree to a tag team match. AR Fox will have a partner later, and they'll have a tag team match later on in the show. We then get the Outrunners, Tomohiro Ishii and Hologram defeating Hechicero, Lance Archer, and the Infantry when the Outrunners hit the total recall on Sean Dean, and they win the $400,000 for winning this match. So we then get video for Hangman Page versus Jon Moxley that'll happen on Dynamite next week for the world title. We then get the Triangle of Madness, which is going to be the name for Tekla, Julia Hart, and Sky Blue's new group. They defeat Maserati, Laney Luck, and Rachel Ellering when Tekla hits the stomp on Maserati. After the match, Queen Aminata runs in with a chair, but Megan Bain also runs in and attacks her from behind and hits a Liger Bomb to Lyra Lang. We then get Stokely Hathaway. He doesn't think much of Cope coming after him, but promises FTR will win the tag team tournament and become tag team champions. We then get the Paragon of Roddy Strong and Kyle O'Reilly coming in to interrupt a Hologram and Ishii interview and basically says the conglomeration is back together. I guess they're going to rejoin the conglomeration since Adam Cole's out and the Paragon's pretty much worthless without him. So they're just going to throw all these guys back together again. But Hologram and Ishii seem confused, as I don't really know how much English they really speak or understand. So I don't think they really understood what was going on. But We then get the matriarchy. They defeat AR Fox and Angelico when Nick Wayne hits the kill switch on Angelico. We then get Chris Statlander in the back with Renee Paquette. She goes on a hell of a rant about how Willow Nightingale hasn't thanked her for anything that she's ever done for her. Now Chris Statlander is going to be herself, and you can't stop her. Or she says you can't stop Stat. So they've been doing this thing where she's just been talking a lot lately, and she hasn't done much in the ring. So hopefully she gets back in the ring and does some great stuff from there. And then we'll wrap up the show where Athena defeats Alex Windsor via pinfall following the O-Face. And post-match, Athena and Starks go after Windsor, but Toni Storm runs in for a brawl. She hits a running hip attack, sets up a chicken wing, but Starks makes a save, and Windsor is back up, and the heels are knocked to the floor to end the show. So that'll wrap up Collision there. And as far as match of the night, I would go with Dustin Rhodes and Lee Moriarty. Good way to hype up the crowd and kind of start the show. So that would be my best match for Collision. But that Athena Alex Windsor match was good as well. So definitely check that one out if you have a little time to check out some Collision action from last night. So thank you for joining me as always. Another great week of wrestling headed into SummerSlam next week. Probably will put all of SummerSlam on not next week's episode, with the episode after that. I'll cover Saturday and leave Sunday for the next one. Or we'll see what kind of happens. But I definitely will have an episode next week. But we'll see what we kind of include on that as I get closer to there. So thank you for joining me as always. We will see you next week.
You can't see me, my time is now. It's the franchise where I'm shining now. You can't see me, my time is now. In case you forgot or fell off, I'm still hot, knock your shell off. My money stacked fat, plus I can't turn the swell off. The franchise doing big business, I live this, it's automatic. I win this, so you hear those horns, you finish. A soldier, and I stay under you fighting. Plus I'm storming on you chumps like I'm thunder and lightning. Ain't no way you breaking me, kid, I'm harder than nails. Plus I keep it on lock like I'm part of the jail. I'm slaughtering stale competition. I got the whole block wishing they could run with my division, but they gone fishing with no bait. Kid, your boy hold weight. I got my soul straight. I brush your mouth like Colgate. In any weather, I'm never better. Your boy's so hot, you never catch me in the next man's sweater. If they hate, let them hate. I drop your whole clan. Lay your ass down for the 3-second tan. Your time is up, my time is now. You can't see me, my time is now. It's the franchise where I'm shining now. You can't see me, my time is now.
It's gon' be what it's gon' be. 5 pounds of courage, buddy base, 10 pants with a gold tee. It's a war dance, a victory step. A raw stance is a gift, and you insist it's my rep. John Cena trademark, y'all are so-so. And talk about the bread you make, but don't know the recipe for dough. Aiming guns in all your photos, that's a no-no. When this pop, your lip lock, your big talks are blatant no-so. See what happens when the ice age melt. It seems monetary status is not what matters, but it helps. I'm rocking Timepiece by Benny, if any. The same reason y'all could love me is the same reason y'all condemn me. A man's measured by the way that he thinks, not clothing lines, ice links, leather and minks. I spent 20 plus years seeking knowledge of self. So for now, Mark Fredker's living life for wealth.
Your time is up, my time is now.